Hey guys, and welcome to the DVGA podcast, a podcast where we interview top level executives inside leading and growing companies in the beauty and e commerce industry. Excited to have our guest today, Ceata Lash. We'll be diving into her story and a little bit about what her company does and some engaging insights into the beauty industry. So I'll go ahead and kick it off to you, Ceata. Could you please introduce yourself and tell a quick snippet of your story and your background prior to working at the PuffCuff?
So my name is Ceata Lash, and I am the founder, inventor, and CEO of PuffCuff. I came up with the idea back in, I would say, the early 2000s when I stopped chemically straightening my hair. And I wanted to be able to wear my hair up all day in a way that would not cause me to have a blazing headache because I couldn't find at that time, I couldn't find anything that would accommodate the thickness and texture of my hair without trying to bind it down or trying to cinch it down, or the clamp or whatever I was using trying to keep itself closed. So there was always a lot of tension and pulling and tugging. And I was basically like, this is ridiculous that I have to suffer in order to style my hair the way God gave it to me. Because I had been having my hair chemically straightened for, at that time, since I was 10 years old. And then I had, prior to that, had been having my hair hot combed, straightened. So didn't know. And I should say I stopped chemically straightening my hair simply because I went longer between treatments. And when I did that, all of the dermatitis that I had been suffering from for years on my scalp, and the flakiness and the itching, it just all disappeared. So my body was taking an exhale. And at that point, I was like, the relief is too great to go back to using those chemical straighteners. But I still wanted to be able to look at myself in the mirror and not be in shock with my curly hair that I didn't know what it was going to look like or how to style it. And I was an adult, working in a professional setting. And I was the only Black woman in my department, only Black woman in the building. And I just didn't want the necessary attention that would come with growing my hair out natural. And at the same time, wanted to be able to achieve a style that I felt comfortable looking at my own self. So that's where the PuffCuff came from. So I can demo one here. I'm wearing one of them right now. This is the PuffCuff. And this is the way you use it and take it. So this is how much hair that I have. It's all over. This is how much hair that it's keeping up. So I recently went to micro locks, but the original PuffCuff is this one right here. Even though it looks kind of oval shaped in the package, it's actually just closed a little bit. So it's actually round like this. So this is the second from the largest. The largest is 5 inches. The second one, it goes down from 5 inches all the way to 1.25 inches, but they all work the same. So you can see this is how you use it. You open it up like this. You put one arm in on one side, bring the other arm around, overlap the hooks like that, and then you let your hair go. So it's the density and texture of your hair pushing outward on the clip that keeps the hooks closed rather than the clip trying to keep itself closed. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
there's no tension, there's no binding, which results in no headache and no hair damage. I have 4 patents on it. And you asked me one other question. Oh, what was I doing prior to this? I think I might have mentioned it. Maybe I didn't. But I went to school for graphic design, so a graphic designer by career. And when I started PuffCuff, I really just thought I was going to be a product that I would sell as a side hustle or, a hobby. But it just developed into a business. I started selling PuffCuff for the first time on Amazon in 2014, and now we are 11 years later.
Wow, that's super interesting. Thank you for sharing this story. And so now that you explained a little bit how you got into this industry, I want to ask you, what is about your job or industry that you're passionate about?
I am most passionate about solving a problem for others, to tell you the truth. I mean, when I first started coming up with the idea of PuffCuff, I really was trying to solve my own personal need, but um, I didn't realize, I thought I just needed something to hold my hair up without a headache. But it was deeper than that. It was really bringing inclusivity and recognition to so many consumers that had that need, but there was no one supplying a tool for them. All the tools that were out there were basically, the styling tools were basically made for those with straight hair. Yet 65% of the world's population has curly hair. So I didn't realize I was discovering a white space, but when I did, and then I see how it really can be a lifesaver for people, because hair is very, very intimate to us. It's part of your character, it's part of your personality. If your hair is not right, usually your mood is not right. I mean, hair plays a huge role, and it's, I didn't realize how much hair played a role in culture itself, and that's across all ethnic backgrounds. Curly hair is not necessarily embraced across the world, but we're getting out of that, and to be able to provide a solution for people to live a healthier lifestyle and also not feeling like they have to conform into what society feels is acceptable and quote unquote, beautiful, that I feel if God made it, it has to be good. So why do we feel like we need to change it? And providing a tool to aid in that process of self love and self acceptance, when that happens, and it from people that are, from children to women who are like in their 60s, 70s, that have always struggled with their curly hair because of relationships with their mother, not knowing how to do it, or being of mixed race, and just not understanding the dynamics of curly hair and how to care for it. And when they use the puff cuff and they're like, this is what I've been searching for, that's what I'm passionate about.
Thank you for sharing this. And I think nowadays a lot of brands are trying to actually provide products for everyone that don't just fit a specific segment of the population. And so I want to ask you, based on your experience as well and what you see inside the industry, what are the current trends in the market that you are aware of? What winds are blowing? What are you noticing?
So there's definitely a trend towards providing products that are geared toward the needs of a more diverse audience, but they're usually not chemical, they're wet products. They're not necessarily tools in the industry. Providing the industry is not necessarily providing tools um, for a more inclusive audience. Um, and even with the wet products, there's a lot of people trying to jump on that bandwagon, but do they really know the dynamics of curly hair? Have they lived with it all their lives? Have they gone? And it's a lot of, there's bigger brands that are just, I say, for the sake of it, putting a label on it saying it's natural or organic or for texture, this, that, and the other. But if these brands have been around for, hundreds and hundreds of years, and only making one formula that's supposed to be a one size fit all solution, I think you have to be very, very, as a consumer, very, how do you say, you have to be very inquisitive and realize and do your research and know, get familiar with what works for curly hair and what doesn't. You know, is the brand authentic to what they're selling? Who are the people behind those formulas? Do they have curly hair themselves? So I think it's one of those things where you have to go in eyes wide open and not get caught up in the hype, but actually do your research and find out where 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 is the ethos of this company coming from? Is it just for a dollar, or is it actually for your health and your benefit, and for you to be able to, you know, embrace what you have and flaunt and rock what you have?
Yeah, definitely agree with that. That's something that comes along in those conversations, even like about clean products. This is a lot about marketing as well
Yeah,
sometimes.
right. And not to be caught up in the marketing hype, but actually understand and don't take everything for face value is what I'm saying. Do the research, try to find out what's behind it. Look at the ingredients, read the ingredients. If it's something that you cannot, if it's got 15 vowels and consonants together on it, it's a word that you cannot pronounce, or you have no, figure out what that is before put that on your body. Because it's, even though people think it's, it's just hair, no, it's not just hair. It's part of, all of the body is a living organism. So whatever you put on it is going to be in it. And you have to be very conscious of what you're doing to yourself.
Definitely. Now I want to transition a little bit and learn a bit more about PuffCuff. So, could you tell me about your company and what products are over at PuffCuff?
So PuffCuff was, like, I don't know if I said it or not. We've been retailing on We started the company in 2013. Um, After I spent probably about 6 years either talking myself out of why I couldn't do it, or why I shouldn't do it, or why I wasn't smart enough, why I didn't have enough money, to having a very life changing event happen, 2 life changing events happen, to where I was like, you know what? God gave me this idea. I got to at least try. So we started started the company in 2013, started retailing in 2014. We started retailing on Amazon, then graduated from there to our own e-commerce store on Shopify. And from there, just like really listening to the customer's wants and needs, and realizing that this was a global, a product that has a global audience, and that no matter what the hair texture is, everyone equally hates the rubber band, but not all hair, not hair does not come in one size. You know what I mean? So adjusting our, I mean, not to say it, adjusting our focus and realizing, okay, we needed to expand the line of puff cuffs to include more than one size. Like like I said, the original one that I designed, it's 5 inches, and it's this big because this is the original, and you can see how big it is. And at that time when I designed it, I made it that big because my hair was shorter. So I realized that we've all kind of been taught, if you have short hair, you need the smallest tool. But if you're trying
Mhm.
to pull your hair into a small circle, that's not doing anything but exacerbating the damage. So you really don't need to, any short hair should not be tried to be constrained or gathered into a small circle. You really just need something kind of just holding it up, and not, does that make sense? So that's where that came from. So with the 5 inch, it was like, okay, as my hair got longer, I could gather it in a smaller circle. So then I needed a smaller puff cuff. And then we have other people who don't have as much hair or density or texture. So then it was, okay, we can make it even smaller for more intricate styles. So we have that one, and then we have one that's even smaller than that. So I can put all of my hair up into this one junior, was what we call it, the junior puff cuff. I can put all of my hair up in this, but let's say I don't want to put all of my hair up at one time. I just want to put a portion of it up, where I would be able to put a portion of my hair in this, like to do, I'll just do it right quick. To do like a have just, they call it half up, half down or whatever. Where for me, I can use this one, which is the second from the smallest, just to hold this section of my hair, right? Where you may have to use the smallest one for all of your hair. So the more, basically, I had to realize that the more sizes I made, the more inclusive the product is. Like I can do a bun without bobby pins just by wrapping and tucking, which bobby pins too, they're great for decoration, but those things by the end of the day, they're digging into your scalp like crazy. So it's just another way that you can style your hair without having to have extra tools that ultimately can cause pain. Because I think we've been conditioned to think that if it's not hurting, it's not working.
Yeah, especially in beauty.
Right, right. And it's like, who wrote that rule that if it's not, if it, because I get a lot of customers that'll be like, I can't feel it, so it must not be working. And it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, because I think this quote that is like you have to suffer to be pretty, something like that. Yeah.
I would say a man probably wrote that, because that makes no sense. That, you know, nothing against them, but I'm like, that makes no sense that we're convinced that if it's not hurting, it must not be performing at its best. And it's like, no, we do not have to be in pain in order to, style our hair. So I say all that to say, we actually have another version of the puff cuff that is my third patent, that will work for those with silkier textured hair. Because right now, the way that the teeth are designed, the teeth are kind of designed to lock into your curly or texture. But if you don't have a lot of curl and texture, it just slides right out. So we get a lot of people with straight hair that also hate the elastic band, but the puff cuff doesn't necessarily, the way it is right now, will not work for them. But we have another version of it that's prayerfully will come out maybe at the end of this year or the beginning of next, that will work for those people that have still, have density, like have a lot of hair, but they just don't have a lot of curl or texture.
Okay, nice. Very, very, very interesting. Now, you kind of touched upon this already a little bit, but I really want to give you the chance to really dive into this topic. And could you explain me what unique value do PuffCuff products bring to your customers?
So the unique value is that you can style your hair and be authentic to yourself without pain and without hair damage. So that's the unique value right there. And our core values are, first, I mean, it's even within our mission statement, it's championing self-love and self-acceptance. And those are the two big cornerstones of the purpose of the puff cup. I didn't necessarily realize that in the beginning. But the more I talked to my customers and the more I was really listening to the tone of the reviews and what they had to say, it was, I'm learning to embrace my hair again. I'm learning to love my curls. I'm learning to, and this was a tool that could aid in that process. So, but the core values of the company are, and I remember, but I'm going to look them up just so I don't say say it wrong. But the core values of the company are um, family, authenticity. Hold on one second. I'm looking at the wrong thing. You can edit this out, right?
Yeah, of course.
Hold on one second. Where am I at? Oh, I really want to say them. Hold on one second.
No worries.
Okay. So the the core values of PuffCuff are family, quality, integrity, innovation, compassion, and mindfulness. So, and that literally comes from the way our customers feel about the brand, myself, because I try to be very, very authentic. I'm the same person whether I'm talking to you or talking to a fan, um, uh, or a customer, or an investment partner, or a retailer. Um, we've been fed so many things in terms of the beauty and personal care world of trying to it's gotten better, but it's trying to achieve a false so trying to achieve something that you never could isn't real to begin with. You know what I mean? So I wanted the brand to be able to convey that this is for you wherever you are in your journey, and we're all a work in progress, but if this tool can help you along that journey to be the best you that you and God feel like you need to be, then that's what it's for. I mean, that's the whole purpose of it. Because I mean, everybody, all these people that we see in media, and it can do a job on you. It can do a social media and celebrity, news and this, that, and the other. It can do a job on your self esteem, and but all of that, we have to realize how much of that is really real versus the smoke and mirrors that are out there. And with PuffCuff, it's all about what you get, what we put forth is really exactly what it is. We're not doing, there's not empty promises. And I know we've been dealt so many empty promises from the beauty and personal care industry that you get tired of it. But I wanted to be able, because I was a consumer first before I started this company, and I wanted to be able to, whatever I put out there, that it's real, it's authentic, and it's proven. So there's no reason to doubt,
Yeah,
basically. Hmm.
that's very inspiring. And these values are also embodied by your foundation. So I want to ask you, can you tell me a little bit about the PuffCuff Cares Foundation?
So the PuffCuff Cares Foundation is it's not it hasn't been created yet. This is one of my dreams. So I've always been a there's we have some passion projects that are close to our heart. One of them is African American adoption, and the other is mentoring Black, brown, female, the non-traditional entrepreneur, being able to be a resource for those who haven't necessarily experienced small business or entrepreneurship as well, especially from the point of view of a successful business that may be able to exit or be acquired by someone else, not just doing it being in business to survive. So that is another passion of ours, it being as a resource for those people who want to walk along this journey, that not be able to not have to make the same mistakes that we did. But to get to PuffCuff Cares, that really came from an opportunity that I was given last year. And one of my products ended up in the hands of some nurses at a children's hospital. And they were having the issue of, they realized that they did not have all of the necessary tools to be able to care for their patients from head to toe, especially when it came to their patients and their children that were children of color. And what happens is, I don't know if you've ever been in the hospital or not, but if you're in the hospital and you're admitted, we're not talking about ER where you're just buzzing, going through. When you're admitted into the hospital, one of the things, you usually, if you're admitted for no less than 3 to 4 days. And when children are admitted into the hospital, they're admitted for at least 5 days at minimum, usually. That whole time where you're laying in that bed, especially people with textured hair, their hair is being destroyed. Like everything is matted up. And a lot of times these nurses have to bathe them, from top to bottom. So they were feeling like, I'm not equipped with the right education, nor am I equipped with the right tools to be able to care for this child's hair in a way that it's non-invasive. It will not absorb any of the fluids or liquids or whatever. And it is, you can't feel it. And it's quick and easy to do without agitating the patient. So they found the PuffCuff and they were like, this is perfect for our hair equality, hair equity program. Because the products that you have in the hospital to take care of your personal needs, your hair stuff is crap. it's just terrible. And a lot of these they found that a lot of their children were like having to have their hair cut off by the time they got out of the hospital because it was so wrecked and damaged from not being able to be put up and out of the way. So it was, the PuffCuff fit the bill, and that's where PuffCuff Cares comes from, is that our next goal is to have PuffCuff available for purchase by every hospital within the United States. So their nurses and their doctors, whatever, when you're there in that environment and you need a quick way to get hair up and out of the way in a non-invasive way, that patient can have dignity because you are not, I thought I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but I didn't, sorry. When you're in the hospital and you're sick, it's not about, your personal appearance is not something you're usually worried about, But if there is how quickly a nurse can get someone's hair up and out of the way without damaging it and having that person not be in pain, and they're able to have some type of dignity in the way and pride in the way they look, as well as not have to get it cut off when they leave the hospital. That just is like, okay, this is what God put this on the planet for.
Yeah.
So that's what PuffCuff Cares is about. Is bringing
That's
hair equity into the healthcare system, and hopefully within other industries where um, employees are required to keep their hair gathered and up and out of the way, that they can perform their duty, perform their job, and not have to sacrifice um, the health of their hair, as well as sacrifice not having the being in pain.
yeah.
At the end of the day, because of the way your hair is styled.
Well, that's a beautiful project, and I'm sure people would love to support that. So I know that you're currently raising funds in a quite innovative way. So could you tell me a little bit about that and how can people support PuffCuff?
So yes, right now we are live on a crowdfunding platform called WeFunder. It is not a Kickstarter or Indiegogo where someone is giving a donation. Actually, it is a investment in the company. So what happens is a person can invest a minimum of $250, and that investment will be held in a fund until we raise again or we're acquired. And when that event happens, that's when the investor will make their money back on whatever they have invested. And then we also are offering anyone that invests over $1,000, um, they will start reaping their investment back come Q1 of 2025. So it's on the platform. It's wefunder.com. And if you search PuffCuff, and PuffCuff is all one word, but we're using these funds to expand our retail footprint, to hire. We need some strategic hires in order for us to get to get to our goal, certain revenue goal, and we need additional capital, working capital for marketing and inventory, so we can fulfill these new partnerships that we have. We're talking to Target stores, Walmart stores, Ulta, Kohl's, Dollar General. This opportunity with the medical system, the healthcare system, procurement services, and of course our Amazon store, and just supporting all the inner workings, because the goal in the end is, I feel that when we are not being PuffCuff will not be successful without our customers. So our customers should have the ability to own stake in our success and reap the benefits of it, because we're that's how we have gotten this far, and that's how we'll continue to grow. But when we succeed, we feel that our customer base should succeed too. Our investors should succeed.
Okay, thank you for sharing this, and I will add the link to the campaign in the description of the podcast for people to access to it. Um, Now, I want to transition a little bit to a different topic. As you
Mhm.
know, we're a data analytics company, and so I'm always curious to hear about other people's experiences when it comes to data analytics in this industry. So I want to ask you, in your opinion and experience, how does data influence decision making and strategies in the beauty industry?
So data plays a huge role in every decision, and it should, in order to succeed in business, period. The thing that is hard is making sure that your data is clean and that your data is accurate across whatever platforms and revenue streams that you have, as well as, you know, your being able to drill down to what is your overall, order value, what's your conversion rate, what's, but when you're on different platforms, all of those things are different. All of those different data points can be are different on each platform. And then in terms of now that we have social media marketing, email marketing, SMS marketing, you need to know what tool. Data is the only way you're going to be able to tell what tools are successful and which tools you need to abandon, which platforms are successful for you, which platforms are not, which e-commerce should you be selling on this is your audience on this e-commerce channel, or are they on that e-commerce channel? So I mean, data, clean data plays a role in every single decision you make, and it's vital in terms of being able to map out how you're going to be able to grow this brand or this business or this product for X amount of years. How are you going to get to a profitable state? How, every being able to tell that story, data is key in that, but even to plan that map, that's all about your data.
Yeah, and also understanding um, consumer preferences and trends. Um, Data can be very useful to do this type of things too. So, can you share insights on the role of data analytics in understanding your consumers' preferences and the trends that you see in the industry within your company?
So for us, we've had to drill into our data to find out where our customers are, how they shop, where they shop, what do they buy, what do they, what other parts of their lifestyle play into their buying choices, and where do they live. So it that helps us nail down our personas and be able to communicate, figure out who they are, as well as how to communicate to them and where to communicate to them. And then that also, that also there, when you dig into, um, especially gathering data directly from them, you start to see and understand what their wants and needs are, and you're able to cater products or offerings towards those wants and needs.
Okay, yeah, definitely agree with that. Thank you for sharing this. And you mentioned before there's a lot of challenges that comes with working with data. Like you said, you have to make sure that the data is clean and accurate. And there's also this challenge of working with data coming from various different sources in different formats. So I want to ask you, what are some of the key challenges that you face in gathering and utilizing data effectively in your role at PuffCuff?
In order for me to know what's working and what's not working, and if my marketing dollars are, actually producing, if I'm getting on a return on my investment, I have to be able to have a single dashboard that pulls in all of these sources, but and can paint that picture for me so I can see what's working, what's not working, where my gaps are, where I need to focus my attention, where I need to shift. That, I mean, it tells the whole story. But the whole thing is there's so many changes within data analytics, especially when it comes to these large platforms like, you know, um, Google will say something, but my Shopify store may give you a totally different interpretation of the same data. So it's key to being able to, like I said, whatever source that this data is being pulled from, that I can count on the fact that that data is clean and it's
Yeah.
not being skewed in one way or another.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I've seen this in previous experiences, having completely different numbers because there was a mistake in the way that the platform was set up to
Or
scrape
the
the
way
data.
the
And
platform is right, the way the platform is delivering. It's not like they might leave parts of the puzzle out, so then the data ends up being skewed. So We found that a lot with social media analytics
Oh
pulling
yeah,
in. Yeah. Hmm.
definitely. And they make it harder, social media platforms usually, to get your flat files and like raw data.
Hmm.
So it's difficult to check everything with them. Um, Speaking of challenges, it's not only data related, I suppose, as a founder and CEO. So I want to ask you, what do you think is the type of mindset that is needed to be a successful CEO?
Ooh, you got to be tenacious. This is not
Mm,
easy.
yeah.
This is not. um, the I am 100% believer. Whatever you put out is good. You'll get good back. But at the same time, it is not a. This is not a add water and stir type of career choice, life choice, and it's a life choice. It literally is a life choice because being a CEO of a company, there's no on and off switch, especially when you're still in the building of process. um, and it's not easy. There's many peaks and valleys. So, and especially with consumer product goods, it's not like tech where people are just throwing money at you for an idea. We have a proven product with a proven customer base and social proof and patents behind it and everything else. And we're still always seem to be struggling for working capital and capital to get to that next product launch or that next marketing campaign or this, that, and the other. So, but then I also have to, some of it I have to fall on the knife for myself because, like I said, when I started this, I didn't realize I was starting a business. And most entrepreneurs don't. They have like, you know what? I've been having this problem and I figured out a solution that I think will work. And is anybody else interested in it? And it's like, yeah, I need that too. I've been looking for that solution too. And then it grows into a business where, and a lot of us don't come from that experience to know what the proper way or I don't know if it's proper, but the textbook way of how to build a business. So a lot of times we're catching up, and that is the part that you get weary, you get very weary. But I've built a large network, and it's just having conversations like this that it's I call it's more like therapy. So,
Yeah.
but it is literally this really reaching out whenever you're in a situation that is above your skill level or outside of your skill set, to ask for help, and being okay with that, and being okay with your idea may not be the best right now, but being able to receive from other people to collectively say, okay, let this is the, you we got to think about this bigger picture and how it all flows, and being able to have the open mind to receive that information for those who have either walked the walk or have just a better insight into that skill or that expertise that you need at that time.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely relate to that. I think surrounding yourself with people that are knowledgeable and that maybe have more expertise on a certain topic than you do is definitely helpful. Uh, Now I want to ask you, what are you told us a little bit about the projects that you have for PuffCuff, but for the next 12 months, what is your vision?
So my vision for the next 12 months, we're really like level setting because our business changed so much when our business model changed. I won't say a 360, but it did a significant swivel when the Apple privacy update launched, to where our social media and pay-per-click marketing was not effective anymore. So we have focused on an omni-channel business now, to where we are doing direct to consumer. We're doing um, B2C, which is, retailers that purchase the product from us and then resell it. And then B2B, where like the hospital or healthcare, where it's us, one business selling directly to another business that's not necessarily reselling the product. So if I had I did not start the business that way. So, but now since there's been so many things that have changed that are out of my control, um, hindsight in 2020, I wish I had done it that way from the beginning, but I didn't know what I didn't know. But now that I do, that's what we're doing. So it's to level set. This year we're using 2024 to level set because it's been very, very different for consumer packaged goods brands, especially when the economy is a little volatile and people, you know, you're hearing a lot in the media about inflation, that and people are not buying like they used to. And you have the constraints of not being able to reach your customer like you used to. So I'm piggybacking on the reputation and the that bigger brands have, bigger retailers have, to get that attention on my product.
Okay. Yeah, very interesting. Thank you for sharing this. Now I have a last question. I think it's a good one to wrap things up a little bit, but it's a loaded one. What are some of the most important things you've learned in your career?
To know your numbers, know your data. um, um, don't be afraid to ask for help when you need help. Um, when someone does need help and they legitimately need me, I will be there for them. Um, and you're only as big as your network.
That's a very good one.
Yeah,
That's a
you're
very
only as
good
big as your network, and money is not everything. My whole
Yeah.
thing is, I want my end passion for all of this is to be in a place where someone, some entity feels that PuffCuff is worth acquiring. And at that time, I can be that person, like I said before, that advisor, that mentor, that resource for others that want to embark on this journey. And then I don't have to worry about how my bills are being paid, and that I've created something to where not just my family can benefit from the wealth, but several families and my children and my grandchildren and my great grandchildren. That is just the possibility of generational wealth, that a lot of people that look like me have not had that opportunity. So, but I don't want to just walk off into the sunset. I want at least a year. I want to walk off into the sunset. But after that, my thing is to help people do the same thing.
Well, that's very inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing this, and thank you for coming on the podcast. Now, for the people that are listening or watching and that want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
So we are, of course, the puffcuff.com, and you can find us on social, on any channel with at the PuffCuff for everything. Of course, I'm on LinkedIn, and please definitely think about investing in the company. So when so when we reap the success, you can reap the success with us. And that's again at wefunder.com / or whatever the slash, whether it's forward or backward, I don't know. PuffCuff.
Okay, awesome. I'll put all that information in the description for people to have access to it. And thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you so much. Take care.